Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about Google Drive and some of the options that are there within. Most of you may not have used Google Drive before, but hopefully those of you who have, you'll pick up a few tips as we go along here. I guess what I would say to you about Google Drive first is you got to understand what it is, and what it is essentially storage. It's like having a USB drive with you at all times without physically having one. Think of it as the USB drive in the sky or the cloud, whichever you prefer. But essentially, it's storage where you can store things and you can work from there, but you never have to remember to bring a physical drive with you for it to work. So if you look on my screen here, you can see that I'm logged in. And there, I know I am there because if I hover over the W, there it tells me that's my name there. And over here you can see I can access my email or any images that I have, but it's a little grid here. If I click on that, that's where Google Drive can be found. And there's other things in there like docs and sheets and slides, which are essentially Word, Excel and PowerPoint. It's like the Google equivalent of those things. There's a calendar in there that'll be handy to use, and contacts that you'll build up as you correspond with different people over the course of the year. For the moment, we're concerned with Drive. Now, as a student, you have essentially unlimited access, unlimited storage for Google Drive. And you can see I've cleared out a lot of my Google Drive that I was using last year. I still got a few bits and pieces here, but I'll be able to kind of talk you through them. So you can see here, I've got a few different sections. There's I want to add a new element that's there. This My Drive. Team Drives is something you won't see. It's what I use in relation with other staff members. This is wherever I can access things that were shared with me rather than things I've created myself. Most recent things that I've created or accessed, and things that I've starred. Like if I could put a little star on something that kind of identifies it as a special document or image or whatever, something I'm going to use again and again or need to access again and again. If you star it, it makes it easier to find. And then there's a bin. Now you can see here that I've got 31.6 gigabytes of storage used up. That's quite a lot. I've got a lot of video in there from recording student presentations and stuff like that. So I'm going to clear that out later. But for now, I'm just going to talk you through some of the things that I think you should know. So over here you can see My Drive, and there's a list of activities. So today I made a poster in Google Doc, or I opened one. I created another document here. These are from Friday. I edited a doc called RQF Meeting Notes. I added a book list thing that I'm looking to kind of build up on. And you can see it goes through, rewind. You'll see all of these things that I've made. So if you're looking for something, you can access it there. So if you're thinking, right, I can't see it around here anywhere, where's that poster I made? So you can scroll through here. You can say, look, I know I made it on today, or I made it on Friday. There it is. I just click on it and it'll open it for me. Over here is basically, this is your quick access. These are things that you've used relatively recently. These are your folders, and these are all of the files that you have. So it's a bit confusing at first. Yours will initially say nothing, or it'll just be blank, and you can build these folders as you go. So let's make a folder really quickly. One of the things I can do is if I right click or here, I can say new folder. So let's say for argument's sake I am a media student. So I'm going to add in a folder called media, and I'm going to hit create. And it should happen that there's my media folder. If I right click on it or control click on it, I have options here. I can change the color. So that's, I'm going to make that folder red. There it is. So you can color code things if you want. Inside that folder, you can see I can drop files in there, and you can see on my desktop over here I've got a bunch of files. Let's say I want to take this screenshot. I want to add that in. I just drag it across. You see the little plus symbol appeared. I let it go, and it starts uploading it there, and there it's in. If I go back out to My Drive up here, there's my media folder. If I double click to open it, there's that file I just brought in. If I want to get rid of it, control click and remove. By the same token, if I said, right, I want to bring this over here and I want to share this with somebody. So bringing it back in, you can see it adds it in there again. I can control click. I'm going to share this with somebody. And let's say, I'm going to share this with Nikki. There he is. And then I can say to him, right, Nikki, this is a file I've got for you. You can edit it, you can comment on it, or you can just look at it. I'm going to let him edit it, and I'm going to say, here you go, here you go, here you go. And I'm just going to send that to him, and that's it. I'm going to cancel that for now. Nicky doesn't need my terrible pictures. I'm going to cancel that and just say done. But there's that image. It's there if I want to share it with somebody, and then I go back out. So this is like it's basically your hierarchy tree. So there's media, and that's in a file called my drive. So if I go back out, there it is. So in media, what I would say, or whatever your course document or your course is, I click on that. I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to make folders in here. So I'm going to right click, new folder. Sorry, new folder. I'm going to call this one television. I'm going to call this one, let's say, radio. I'm basically going to make a folder for every module that I do as a student. Unless we call this one photography. Now there'll probably be another 5 or 6, but that's what you need to do. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're going to be submitting work as the year goes on, say to your photography module. So let's open up the photography module, and let's say I'm going to bring this back in again, bring this image across. I'd say I'll have a load of images in here, and I might, inside that folder, I might say new folder. I'm going to call this brief 1, and I'm going to place that inside it. So there's brief 1, and it has that folder in it, and you can see up here my drive, media. Inside media there's a folder called photography. Inside photography there's a folder called brief 1, and inside brief 1 is this folder. So it's folders within folders. But the reason I'm showing you this is, let's say if you're a photography student, you might want to share this folder with, let's say, Michael Bourne. Here's Michael, and I'm going to let him edit that, and then I'm going to send it to him. So let's say I've sent that folder to Michael. Now I've shared this photography folder, but I haven't shared brief 1, but that doesn't matter. As long as photography is shared with him, then anything inside it he can access. So if you share that folder with Michael or whoever the appropriate tutor is on day 1, then everything you put into that, they'll be able to access. You don't have to keep sending them stuff. As long as you put it in the right folder, they'll get it. You know? Okay, so let's go back out. There's our folder, media. Inside that is 3 modules, or 3 folders for each module of your main modules. Inside photography, I've got one called brief 1, and that there I've got screenshot or whatever, all the photographs or documents or whatever I need to add there. So let's go back out and back up here to our little grid on the top right, and I'm going to go to Google Docs. Now I'm going to make a document here, and I've got, these are all the documents I did. Remember I said earlier on there was one called book list. If I double click that, it opens up this book list that I put together that I'm going to order for myself for various different design books. So, and then I can just go back, and I should be back out to my Google Docs list, right? So I'm going to make a new document as if I was doing an essay, and I'm going to save it into my photography folder again. So start a new document. And let's say I'm going to call, say I've been given an essay on the history of black and white photography. So up here where it says untitled document, I'm going to say history, I should start typing now, of black and white photography. Okay, I just press enter, and if before when I press enter, you see here beside the word help, when I press enter, see that saving, and it's saved, right? Now I haven't saved it to any particular folder yet, but I can say up here I can move it to that, say I say move to, I'm going to send it to media, go to the media folder, I'm going to save it to the photography one, I'm going to go in there, and I can either add it to that folder. Let's say I make a new folder in here, and I'm going to call this brief 2, and I'm going to move it to here. Now I'll show you that later on. So you can see all changes saved to drive, and my history of black and white photography has been moved from my drive to brief 2. Okay, so it just always tells you what it's doing. So let's say I'm going to start my essay. A long time ago, ... Right, and you can see up here, saving. All changes saved in drive. If I even press return on my keyboard, it saves. It's always saving. You don't have to save it. You don't have to remember a particular file type. You just have to, once you're working in Google Docs, it's always saving. You never have to worry about that. You can just shut this down and walk away, go to a different computer, open it up, and it'll be there. So you're never tied to a particular computer. You never have to remember a particular drive to bring with you. It's always there. You just need access to a computer and it's there. So let's say that's all I'm going to do for today. I'm going to go back. I'm going to shut down Google Docs. I didn't tell it to save anything, but here's my media folder. Here's my photography. Here's brief 2. And there's my history of black and white photography. And we're back. So it's constantly saving your work for you. You don't have to worry about it. And that's it. So anything you want to use, you just drag it into, like if you have stuff on your desktop, you just drag it into the appropriate folder. So let's say, for argument's sake, if I hadn't moved that image the way, that document. So what I could do is I can go to my docs. And there it is. You see it now. I can control click on it. Or right click, depending on what way you want to do it. And I can tell that to I can move that to wherever I want it to go. Let's try that again. Oh yeah, I have to, say down here. Oh, yeah, I knew I'd gone too far. So I opened this up and then I can tell it where to go from there. The other thing is I can go back out to my drive. I can go to, say, recent. There's history of black and white photography. I'm going to control click on that. And then I can move it. So move to. I can say my drive. Media. Photography. Brief 2. And there it is. It's already there, so I can move wherever I want. So that's it. The main thing to remember is once you've kind of organized everything, so we go back to Google Drive, once you've organized everything in my drive, you're kind of just adding stuff to the folders as you go. You should share those folders with the relevant tutors as soon as possible. So media, I would share this one with one particular tutor. So I'd share it with, say, if I was in first year, I might share that with Kevin or whoever it is, or Ray in second year, whatever. So once you share the parent folder, if you like, they can access everything that's inside it. Anyway, I hope that's a help. You can email me at wmcdermott@cdcfe.com if you have any queries about this.